Republican candidates appearing on the ballot this November united Saturday at volunteer centers like this throughout the state with one simple message: get out the vote. Now, the fact that Jacob has made it to his 21st birthday is nothing short of remarkable, but being out here on the lake doing what his family loves to do best is something of a miracle. A piece of ground zero from 9/11 is on display in Cynthiana today. I'm Bill Doris, and I'll have that story coming up. Now, these items are things that you and I might take for granted every day. However, for victims of domestic violence, they're in very desperate need.
We do a lot of skiing. We're a big family, and we enjoy it.
I think they've had everybody in my family up since right when we were about 1 or 2 years old. We were out on the water skiing.
Like thousands of Kentuckians, the Brewer family flocks to the lake every summer.
Jacob skied when he was a year on one of his uncle's laps.
And Saturday, Jacob decided to do just that for his birthday.
And he skied again today with his uncles, which was a dream come true for me.
Jacob Brewer has muscular dystrophy and is confined to a wheelchair.
I didn't think it'd be possible.
But he didn't let that stop him.
And then, I got the phone call up on the phone, and they're like, how about we take you out skiing? I'm like, oh man, I'm there.
Now, the fact that Jacob has made it to his 21st birthday is nothing short of remarkable, but being out here on the lake doing what his family loves to do best is something of a miracle.
Oh, I was excited. I haven't done this in probably about 10, 13 years, and it was just a thrill of excitement.
It was all made possible when Jacob's uncle called this man, David Phillips.
So we tried to cover every type of disability that we have.
His Florida-based company specializes in equipment and instruction for people with disabilities.
It grabs your heart to see each individual person and how you have just changed their life in 15 seconds.
And for people living with any restrictions or disabilities in their life, Jacob has a very simple message.
Have a lot of fun. I mean, you only live once, so you got to enjoy it.
In Shelbyville, Bill Doris, ABC 36, your local news source. Laundry detergent, canned goods, body wash. Now, these items are things that you and I might take for granted every day. However, for victims of domestic violence, they're in very desperate need.
Having a large family of my own, I know it's kind of a big thing with children, and the needs of meeting the needs of children. Diapers and wipes and stuff can be pretty pricey.
Thank you all. Yeah.
Kentucky's First Lady Jane Beshear has teamed up with the Kentucky Domestic Violence Association and Kroger for the 5th annual Shop and Share Day.
We have lists of needed items for the shelters, and what you do is provide the opportunity to participate in something to help our people who are victims of domestic violence.
To date, the event has been a great success.
Last year we got upwards of $300,000 worth of items, and this year our goal is $500,000 worth of items.
And even in these tough economic times, Kentuckians still feel it's important to help out whenever and wherever they can.
I have a cart full of food here for my party tomorrow, so why not give to someone that needs a little help?
As God has continued to bless me, I feel like I can share some of my blessings with other families.
In Lexington, Bill Doris, ABC 36, your local news source.
Well, I have a lot of favorites: Brandon Phillips, Drew Stubbs, and Japers.
Cincinnati fans young and old got a chance to see some of their favorite Reds players and personalities Sunday.
The number of people that turn out never cease to amaze us.
As the Reds caravan made its final stop in Lexington.
Whether the Reds come off of a good year or come off of a bad year, as far as the fans are concerned, it really doesn't make any difference.
I mean, I really didn't know how big Red history really is and how the Reds fans really are.
Now, the Reds made some big moves this offseason. However, the hottest topic of conversation, Barry Larkin's election into the Hall of Fame.
You know, as a fellow Cincinnatian, I'm very, very happy for Barry. You could always tell when Barry took the field back when I played with him in 1986, and he was a rookie, you could tell he was just a special player.
Just being my favorite player growing up, my baseball idol. I feel like he should have been there a long time ago.
Yeah, he's the best all-around shortstop I've seen since I've been around.
But at the end of the day, people say that they love the interaction between fans and members of the Big Red Machine.
how often do you get to ask a Hall of Famer or or future to be Hall of Famers questions about about the game that they play and what they actually think about it?
In Lexington, Bill Doris, ABC 36, your local news source.
Well, this McDonald's here at Versailles Road completely unrecognizable this morning. Nearly 6 hours after this fire began, you can see the rubble still smoking. You can even see a flame in there where the restaurant once stood. Now, firefighters from Frankfort did get this call just after 11 o'clock last night. The battalion chief tells him when he got here just 3 or 4 minutes after he got the call, they saw heavy smoke coming from throughout the restaurant, then flames shooting from the back of the restaurant. Now, right now, the battalion chief does say that a heating and cooling system malfunction, that's what happened. Something wrong with that heating and cooling system inside the restaurant. That's the reason they say right now that fire began. Now, the good thing was that though there were 8 or 10 employees inside working that 24-hour shift, working on the drive-through overnight, all 8 and 10 or 10 of them did get out okay, so all of them were safe. Now, fighting this fire in the cold was difficult because one of the fire hydrants actually froze up, which delayed the whole process. And so they do say that that made things difficult overnight. And they do say this restaurant has been here for 35 years, and the sheer architecture made it hard for crews to fight this fire.
Well, the design of this building is flat roof with soffits completely around the building, metal soffits. The construction underneath those soffits is wood frame construction. The biggest problem you have is actually getting the water where you really need it, and that is on the fire.
Now again, this restaurant has been here for 35 years in Frankfort. The drive-through sign, really the only thing that you can see that's recognizable here this morning. The owner of the restaurant's actually worked here since he was 15 years old, so you can imagine what he's going through this morning. Again, the good thing that no one was injured. We'll have updates on this story throughout the morning. In Frankfort, Alyssa Dos Santos, ABC 36, your local news source.
Horse racing has not had a Triple Crown jockey since 1978. Only 3 Triple Crown jockeys are still alive today. One of them is trying to make a comeback.
Seattle Slew opens it to 4 lanes.
Jean Cruguet won the 1977 Triple Crown aboard Seattle Slew. Now, 34 years later, he's ready to get back in the saddle.
My wife passed away last fall, and I know she'd be proud for me to do that. And she always say, one day you're going to do something that nobody else ever did.
Inspired by his now late wife, Cruguet also wants to ride to raise money and awareness for disabled jockeys.
And you have to give Jean Cruguet credit for trying to think of his fellow jockeys, particularly Ron Turcotte, who is also Secretariat's rider and has been disabled for life.
But Cruguet is 72 years old.
It clearly is a young man's sport, much less ride one at 72.
Cruguet is hardly your typical 72-year-old. He's in great shape. So fit, in fact, he passed all the physical exams required to again be a licensed jockey.
They probably didn't see Kakule pass the test, the physique test,
And he did exceptionally well. He seems fit. It's something that he wants to do. We're talking about it.
So when can you catch Cruguet's coming out of retirement race? Well, hold your horses.
This is a dangerous game.
There is a great deal of instinctive reaction that any athlete has to have to what's happening around him. And we had some concerns about the safety issue.
He's a very good jockey, and I'm not taking anything away from his skills. He's an excellent jockey, but it's hard for a 22-year-old to do this.
Given more time and preparation, he may be able to.
The reaction of the other riders would be a very critical issue. If in their minds they felt that their safety was jeopardized by him running, I'm sure the state stewards would take that into consideration and probably deny him his request to ride.
Cruguet has no plans to become a regular rider again, but would like to give it a go in a few races, maybe as soon as next month at River Downs, then possibly Churchill, where, of course,
At the finish, it's going to be Seattle Slew.
his Triple Crown feat began 34 years ago, and where he could make history once again.
To my knowledge, I don't think it's ever happened.
And that would probably never happen again. Not only that, because win a Triple Crown, win a race in 72, you don't want to see that too often,
At Keeneland, with the Frenchman who credits
one seasoned woman
as the reason he's still fit to race at age 72. Dan Reefer, ABC 36, your local news source.